Hey guys, welcome to the Female Esports League League of Legends edition. Once again, I'm your caster, Daryl Hungry Lim, and alongside me, Jenny Rirachu Lee. We've been casting most of the games for this tournament, you know, not just the Singaporean ones, but the Thailand as well as the Philippines matches. So I think coming down to today, it's the Singaporean top 4 semi-finals. What are your thoughts on this, Jenny? You know, walk me through this.
Alright, so bit of history on the tournament. Of course, we are into our 3rd season of the FSL this year, and as Daryl mentioned, we do have the top 4. We've been playing our offline as well as online qualifiers this entire month, so we finally have our top 4 teams. And our first match of the day is going to be the lower bracket best of 1 final between Team Hanami as well as Definitely Not Girls. Of course, we are playing FSL Season 3 right now, the Singapore Malaysian finals. So Definitely Not Girls is our last Malaysian team in the competition.
Yeah, I mean,
so
you're talking about them, you know, coming over from Malaysia, having some issues with the roster. Not everyone made it. It wasn't the same. It wasn't the same team that
Not everyone made it across the causeway.
Yes, it was a bit unfortunate, but it wasn't a full roster that played during the qualifiers and even all the way through. So this is sort of a different bag of players, right?
Yep, different players for both these teams. So for Team Definitely Not Girls, it's their bottom lane, their ADC as well as support, who didn't actually, they had other stuff this weekend, they couldn't make it for this competition over here in Singapore. So they brought in a whole new bot lane with their ADC and support. Meanwhile, their previous support has role swapped to top. So she's playing top 4 today. So they've kept 3 members of their roster, but not all of them are in their positions. They only have their jungle and mid laner who are still in their respective positions. Also, one thing to note, I think one of the highlights on their team is their 14-year-old mid laner, who she is better at League at 14 than I will ever be.
Your age redacted.
Hey!
So
Hey!
Okay. On that note, though, I think we are jumping into picks and bans, so we should be looking to transition to that real quick. Okay, there you go, your screen, and just to recap, it's Definitely Not Girls on the red side, and on the blue it's going to be Hanami. Very quickly already, we see Sejuani Nocturne as well as Urgot being banned out for the blue team, and on the red, Definitely Not Girls removing, well, 2 AD carries and a single awesome dude, you know. Not really a marksman, but Casio bot lane, very popular nowadays.
Yep, also, one thing that's been different from the previous weeks of our qualifiers is that we are playing live today on patch 9.2, so that just went live, I think, yesterday or the day before. So a slight change to the emphasis on just like between 9.2 and 9.1, a bit more a priority for the Cassiopeia, the Urgot as well, I think compared to 9.1. A couple of minor changes. We were talking about the Definitely Not Girls roster changes, but Team Hanami also had a couple of roster changes. So they brought in a new jungler, Rock123. She's kind of named.
It's a Smurf, right?
Hide her ID. Yeah, whenever you see a 123 at the back, you know it's
always a Smurf. It's always a Smurf.
I actually saw Cute Girl 123 in my queue a couple of days ago, but someone told me it was a guy. Naturally,
the classic catfish.
The classic catfish, the old catfish. But Rock123, she actually was from Team Asterix.
Oh yeah, right.
I just got a mic. We've got double the mic now.
Oh, I think it's something to do with the in-house audio. Maybe we'll try to figure this out. Okay, great. So
Rock123, she actually played on Team Asterix for a few months prior, but she's no longer on Team Asterix because of other commitments. She did play in FSL Season 2, but Team Hanami has brought her in this week. They're playing with an entirely new jungler, so she hasn't played with the roster at all, except for the scrims this week. Meanwhile, their old jungler has swapped to top lane.
Right.
And their old top laner is now in support, so it's kind of battle between 2 autofill tops between Team Hanami and Definitely Not Girls. So it's kind of interesting to see how that will impact the champions. We were talking to them earlier on. I think maybe smaller champion rules between these 2 teams, since not all of them are as comfortable playing their current roles.
Just looking at the picks and bans in the first iteration of this game, we see Lysandra, Zac, and Morgana locked in for Hanami, and the Lulu, Jarvan, and Lux for Definitely Not Girls. So if you think about how both teams want to operate at this point, it's very clear that Hanami has a bit more focus on the engage and sort of CC aspect of the draft, whereas comfort seems to be the theme here for Definitely Not Girls.
Yep, talking to them earlier, they're also saying that I was asking them, what kind of a play style are you guys comfortable with? Are we going to see a lot of the early game aggressive junglers? Is going to be the Nocturne versus Sinjao? It's happening all across the world right now. I said their style is a bit more safe. It's more of like farming up. If they do fall behind a bit, they take whatever objectives they can, but not so much the risky, dangerous plays. I think
that's something we've
seen
a lot.
You can see that in
right?
the picks, of course.
Yeah.
The Lulu, the Jarvan, the Lux. I think Morgana was hotly contested between these two teams. Did go over to Team Hanami, but as we're talking about, Team Hanami have a pretty solid, pretty scary CC composition.
Yeah, so the second round of the bans coming in, we see Kai'Sa and LeBlanc being removed from the pool and Caitlyn being banned. Pretty fitting considering there is a player on the DNG team called Caitlyn, so we did see a lot of Caitlyn Morgana, but like you mentioned now, removing the option for the marksman sort of thins the pool down by quite a lot. Sion, the last ban in here for Hanami as well.
Yeah, what's interesting to me is that this means that they've actually left a lot of top laners open. Pretty much all the meta top lane picks from 9-1 are all open. I think the Aurelia, the Akali, Ornn is available as well. So there are a lot of options. For that, of course, there is sort of a flex pick going on both these teams. The Jarvan, for example, on the side of the definitely not girls, could be flexed jungle, top, mid even.
The thing here is
even support.
But the thing is, looking at the composition now, I think that DNG have sort of secured a bit more of a skirmish heavy composition. They do like to try and get into the fights early with the Chain of Corruption as well as the Cataclysm from Jarvan. The big question is whether they'll have the front line because there's so much counter engage available on the opposite side as well.
Yep, we're talking about the pick composition kind of reminiscent of when we used to see a lot of roaming mid laners such as Talia versus Asol versus Ari. That kind of meta looks like what they're going for, especially level 6 with the roams of the Jarvan, the Lux, and the Chain of Corruption. As you were talking about, once Verse hits level 6. So there's that option available for them. But talking about level 6, Team Hanami have such a scary level 6.
And I like what they're doing here on the blue side because traditionally on red you have the option to counter pick as your last pick. But Aatrox, Lissandra, both of them can be flexed pretty well in mid and top, and you can sort of adjust the matchup based on what you want to play. Of course, both of them now, as bruisers, they are playing pretty well, very low econ, and also provides a good amount of lane priority for the Zac to keep him safe. You're always going to be shoving the wave, and the Zac isn't too worried about getting ganked with the backup of his team.
Yeah, I'm pretty interested in the Shen pick from Definitely Not. They last to pick the Shens here, talking about how red side has the advantage in terms of the last counter pick, but they've instead chosen to go for Shen. We're talking about there being quite a number of viable top laners left. Of course, one less after Team Hanami did pick up the Aatrox. I think Definitely Not Girls placed a lot of emphasis on the Varus Lulu bottom lane, and then pretty much picking utility and picking safe champions everywhere else. Also the Shen versus the Aatrox. It's kind of telling that they're just, going to pick the Shen, just wanting him to farm, have the level 6, have the double global, and that's how he wants to impact the team, but their focus is really going to be on the Varus to carry this game.
Right, so keep your eyes on Caitlyn's Varus. Hopefully she will be able to pop off and provide the damage that her team needs. This is like the turret composition where you have everyone just surround Varus, keep her safe, and have her deal as much damage as possible in the later fights. Meanwhile, on the Hanami side, I think it's very clear what they're trying to do, right? They want to get onto that back line. They have the Lissandra, they have the Zac. Very good engage options, reliable CC as well. And then in the middle area of the fight, you have Aatrox and Zyra just kind of holding their own ground.
Yep, I like that Team Hanami, their composition has options. We were saying that for DNG, it looks like it's a very level 6 heavy composition. Team Hanami are strong at level 6, but then because of the Aatrox pick, because of the Zac pick, there's opportunities for them to really get hit in the level 2, level 3, level 4, and then the level 6 spike as well. And then the Xayah, when she comes online with the 2-3 items, Team Hanami have a lot of opportunities for the team to get a hit, so that's what I like to see.
Right, and I mean, this is the first game of our multiple, game series that we have today. The first best of one in the lower bracket. For our viewers that aren't aware of the current standings, it is the winner of this that will proceed on to the chance to play the losers of the winners bracket, right? If I'm not wrong, correct me.
We are in a double elimination, so
that was the word I was looking for. Yeah, double elimination. Yeah.
That's why I'm a color caster.
Yeah.
So the way that the double elimination works, if you guys are more familiar with League, I think most League tournaments don't generally run a double elim format. So the way that we're playing, the way the tournament is being played today is that there's going to be the best of one between, this is kind of technically the lower bracket final, I think.
Yeah, I mean, if you lose here, you're pretty much out of the tournament, right?
Yeah, so yes, whichever team loses today, they will be the 4th place team in this season of FSL. So of course, a lot riding on this best of one. And right now, I think in the previous weeks, we were also playing best of one, but because of the double elimination bracket, the teams had that kind of opportunity to come back, even if they did lose 1 or 2 games. But today, it's all or nothing. It's the last day of the Singapore Malaysian finals, and the team that wins will
represent
playing. Yep. I mean, it's
that's like the
5 more games from now,
fair enough,
by 6 p.m. But talking about that, we will be having the FSL Elite competition that will be played on, I think it's the 23rd and 24th February weekend. The prize pool is a combined 2,500 Singapore dollars. It's the first time that FSL is going to be with the other Southeast Asian teams. So as we were talking about before this game started, the Vietnam teams, the Thai teams, and the Philippines teams as well, some of the qualifiers that we were casting will be flown down to Singapore next month to play in FSL Elite. It's pretty cool because it's we're in the 3rd season of FSL, but it's the first time that it's a kind of Southeast Asian competition.
And I just want to take a minute to sort of shout out our sponsors that made all this happen. You know, our prize sponsors, Logitech, Singtel, for providing this awesome venue here, guys. We're at the Singtel Recreational Comm Center. You know, it's just in the basement of the actual comm center. It's really nice, air conditioned, super comfortable, and for the PC setups as well, we'd like to thank our sponsors, Legion by Lenovo, who are setting our players up with the required hardware that they need.
Yep, as well as Joe Studio and excellent. And talking about comfortable, our new sponsor,
Secret Lab chairs.
Our Secret Lab chairs. We're pretty comfortable sitting here. If you guys haven't yet put your names down for our brand giveaway for today, we are giving away a Secret Lab chair. So if you guys just got here, don't forget to drop your name in the giveaway for a chance to win a Secret Lab chair of your own.
Alright, we are into the rift for the first game of today. I'm super excited to see what the teams have for us right now, and just looking at the defensive lineup coming in, the blue team with a very good defensive skirmish line. And this is pretty much what we come to expect. Both teams taking it slow, wanting to get the early vision down.
Yeah, it's kind of what we've been seeing for most of the FSL so far. I think a lot of the teams, but particularly because they pick mage supports, we haven't really been seeing a lot of cheese. There's not as much Thresh, Alistair, Pike, so there's not so much chance for that level 1 sneaky invade. So we've been seeing a lot of defensive fans, I think, for most of the level 1 FSL games. No one really wants to give anything too big up. No one wants to give up that first blood.
I mean, along the same lines as well, we see very little cheese from these teams. They like to play the slow standard game and sort of rely on their mid-game skirmishing and just trying to take the fights after. See wards going down, we get the River Pixel Brush ward from Cappuccino, and that's going to indicate how the Rift Scuttle is going to go later on. Meanwhile, on the opposite side, same thing happening by Delusion as well.
Very safe start. Also, just briefly taking a look at the summoning spells from both the mid laners. Lissandra is running the teleport, Lux is running the barrier. So, kind of as we were talking about in pick and bans, looks like it's going to be a very defensive game, very defensive style of play, focused on farming.
Right. But at the same time, I feel like she should have gone for the cleanse to give a bit more respect over to Lissandra. Trades coming in the bottom side, a couple odd attacks in. Nothing really all too much yet. Meanwhile, the jungler's still playing on the bottom side. It looks like Cappuccino is going to go for this Rift Scuttle and secure it for herself. Of course, Zac not really known for the ability to fight over early objectives, so it's just going to hit over to the top side to clear out her own jungle.
Yep, Zac does go very low in the early clear. But he is going to be taking the top side Rift Scuttle of his own, started at red, and then top Scuttle, as you can see the wards that we were talking about.
Yeah.
So both teams know that they've traded this objective. Lissandra though is a bit pushed out. She's going to be pushing this lane into the tower, and early level Lux does better than most other mid laners. They're trying to farm under tower, but it's still rough at the level 2 point.
Yeah, you say that, she's really falling behind in CS, you know, the 7 compared to the 14 of the Lissandra. Delusion now making a very good lead for her team, at least creating these opportunities. You might see a gang coming in, Cappuccino hovering up the side, the Flag and Drag is still available, the Binding not landing though, and neither is the Flag and Drag. She's gonna be able to get out with the Claw of Doom, the frozen glacial path rather.
Nice, and Delusion isn't going to expend her flash for that one, so it will be up for a next gank attempt if that happens. She is pretty low on mana, however, but I mean, she did take teleport, so she's expecting to be using that mana to push the wave and then hit back to base. But now, bot lane.
Second Flag and Drag coming in, not connecting, but the Binding is gonna dissuade this gang, the root to follow up as well, and Cappuccino finding 0 out of 2 ganks. Not very successful morning for her, unfortunately, but still making her presence known on the map.
Oh, I got this. No dice.
Yeah.
Hanami's AD carry is called dice,
Yes,
so they didn't catch her in bot lane, so no dice.
Ooh.
Hey, be nice. It's early in the morning.
This is the power of the Aatrox laner, just the fact that he is so oppressive, often banned out. You can see Coco is already taking a good lead early on, shoving Fate in and forcing an early recall.
Yeah, it's pretty much what we are expecting in the pick and ban for the Shen to fall behind early. Shen's one of those champions who really needs to get something like the Tiamat to get back into wave before he can really start to match most of the other top laners at CS. It will be interesting this game to see if he's opting to go for the Tiamat to keep more even in the farm, or if he's going to go start with the Bami's Cinder. That's very telling. Bami Cinder is more of a team fight oriented. I'm going to hit level 6. I'm going to be more utility for my team. So we'll see how he builds this game. Looks like the Bami Cinder.
The Zac has been power farming for a little bit. We saw her take a small CS lead now, as compared to the ganking paths of the Jarvan, but still not trying to make anything happen just yet. Looking to set up the mid lane gank might be the priority here. So you're walking over to the side. A bit of a visual lag, of course, on the spectator bug. Ping this down. They have the entry point here. They're going to catch her with the Ring of Frost, but she's going to flash out from the Elastic Slingshot. Very preemptive move to keep herself safe. Ice Bear is going to get out there.
Yep, and that's something that you were talking about earlier, that Ice Bear chose to go for the barrier instead of the
hold on. The taunt landing on the side. The Flag and Drag once again not landing. Cappuccino not having a good day here. Coco will have to use the flash, but eventually that gank is not going to connect again, so that's 0 out of 3.
Yep, 0 out of 3, but did, as you mentioned, burn the flash of Coco, so probably going to make a return to the top side since Delusion. It's likely going to hit level 6 soon. It's a lot harder to gain for Lissandra when she does have her flash as well as her ult.
Glacial path in, and that time it's gonna stick. So with the Stand United to come in, Ice Bear might get some reinforcements and damage in as well. They're gonna turn this get around, they get the first blood. Finally Cappuccino joining in, managing to make the first kill happen, gets her team on the board, but they expend a lot of resources for that. Can you get anything more is the question.
But that was such good timing from the side of Team Hanami. Lux had hit her at level 6, which isn't as useful if you're in the 1v1 situation, but crucially I think Lissandra had not hit level 6 there, so she didn't have her ultimate to be safe from that 1v3. So definitely not girls. They knew that they had the level 6 advantage in the mid lane, just went for that. You're talking about 0-3, but he's 1-4 now for a gank, so well done. Definitely.
You know, Jenny, the age-old adage, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Cappuccino is living proof of that today, and she's finally managed to get her team on the board, and that's good because this is a team that also doesn't want to fall behind the mid game. We were talking about how their cards are in line with the Caitlyn. You know, Varus is more of their mid game and late game insurance, so they definitely can't afford to fall behind early on.
Yep, a behind Jarvan is Jarvan's really not one of those champs you want to fall behind on. Once you start falling behind, pretty much flag and drag in, and then you get exploded. So Good job to the Malaysian team. They are our last Malaysian team in today's FSL Singapore Malaysian Finals.
Jenny, I know this is going to get a bit annoying later on because of the name choice that she went with. So for now, we're just going to refer to the AD carry of Definitely Not Girls as her champion name and not the IGN, because that's just going to be...
Yeah, Caitlyn in the bot lane picks up a double.
Nope.
What? Caitlyn where? Huh?
Exactly, so just the champion name is going to be fine, I think, this time. Both junglers still level 5. Second time might be the charm here. Rock is going to connect a lot of the good CC and the Chilling Smite as well, but the barrier might keep her alive for a second longer. Nope, rooted underneath. The cell division is still available, so this is going to buy some time. Cappuccino taking a lot of damage here. She's definitely going to finish off the bloblets, but will fall very low as well off the back.
Word. Also, one thing to note, Cappuccino is playing the Electrocute Jarvan, which is pretty painful. I think you flag and drag, you go in, you hit them, you go back out, and then you leave the rest of your team to clean up the mess. But so far, a very good job from Cappuccino to equalize on that. I think because if you take a look at the CS difference, Iceberg's actually down 28 CS off of Lissandra. So the fact that she got the 2 assists, I think Jarvan got the kill earlier, they're kind of crucial for her at this point, because if she's not getting those kills, she's already behind in CS.
And I want to say all credit to Cappuccino as well to make these counter ganks happen. We saw multiple times the efforts of, or rather the focus of these ganks have been on the mid lane, and time after time Cappuccino has been there to answer. So she's like the reliable backup that you want if you're a mid laner.
Yep, meanwhile, Rock 123 has just hit the level 6 on the Zac. Walking through their own pink ward. There is a pink ward in the bush though, so they know this is coming.
Yeah, but a bit too overextended. The elastic swing shot not in range, using a lot there to get out. Meanwhile, the top lane, they're trying to make this happen. The World Ender has been used by Coco. She's going to get in under the safety of her turret, but should be safe from here. Pulled back in. Cappuccino has to be careful with the spacing. We saw 2 things happen on both sides of the map there. Oh, hold on. Going a bit wonky here. But we saw 2 things happen on both sides of the map.
And as we were talking about earlier, I've been really impressed by Cappuccino with this game so far. She's actually up on CS, and she's also, I think, arguably made a huge impact on all 3 lanes for her team. Taking a look once again at the bot lane skirmish, we're talking about DNG expending a lot to make it out of the Zac level 6. Not sure if the wild growth, the ultimate from the Lulu was entirely necessary. Might have thought that Zac was going to flash, essential flash in. Hanami are going to be taking up the first Infernal Dragon of the game. Luck's going to throw her key.
The controllers didn't see them over there, so they might look to try and pick up a kill off the back. The laser coming in, not stealing it. The smite from Rock is enough to get it for her team. And the first Dragon of the game, the Infernal one as well. So well secured.
Close. And we didn't talk about this in pick and ban because it's pretty minor, but generally when you do have a Lux pick on your team, especially on the red side, it does give you that very slight advantage over Baron, over the objectives, just because there's an opportunity to snipe it from a long range. So didn't work out this time, but we might see it again in the future.
She's gonna need a lot more AP to steal it away, and the bind landing might mean that Caitlyn is in a bit of trouble. I say Caitlyn is more embarrassed. The counter gang coming in for Cappuccino. It's a 3-on-3 here. She has to flag and drag away. The teleport has been committed here. Remember, this is the patch where you can't cancel teleport anymore, and FaZe is just gonna taxi into the bot lane with nothing that she can contribute.
Oh no, and that means Coco is going to be... She doesn't have her wave just yet. She will soon. Yep, she's going to be pushing in the minions to the top side tower. We'll be getting some pretty nice damage over in the top side. Right now, Q is going to land.
Binding as well, so the Glacial Path is going to get her out.
It's just so hard to gank the Lissandra.
Especially when she has Aftershock and the Frozen Tomb as well to buy so much time. Like you said, you know, this is a poor lane to gank. They're still trying to pressure this out and make things happen. But
yeah, that's about the 3rd or 4th time that DNG have been trying to make something happen in mid, but Delusion, she's not even burned her flash yet this entire game. Cappuccino right now with the invade. There's the ward behind blue buff. They are going
to... Take it away, don't give it, just...
Hey, AP mid laners need those, come on!
Cappuccino, good guy jump.
If you invade their blue, you get 2 blues. As long as yours doesn't get counter invaded.
mean, she had the lost chapter, you know, it's not an issue of mana regeneration anymore.
Come on, Jarvans don't need blue, alright? Jarvans need red. And their bot laner is Varus. I mean, Varus likes red buff, but I think a lot of Jarvans will prioritize the red buff.
Speaking of bot lane though, the CS gap has opened quite a bit between Dice and Caitlyn. It's about a 30 CS lead that the Xayah player has gotten for herself.
Yep, and because we are playing, we are into season 9, so there is bounty room. We're gonna Q landing onto the Lulu W, but the shield going to come out since we are. It's support Morgana versus support Lulu, so not a lot of damage being done.
Like you're saying, you know, heavy bounty on the Xayah just because of the
incremental,
incremental lead that the farm has given her.
Yep, it's actually ridiculous. It's a 500 gold difference right now. Jarvan.
Jungler's running face to face with the elastic slingshot is gonna land at a frozen tomb to chain it as well, kidnapping her back in. 2 elements, why not? Just get the kill for yourself, and that's a how do you do early in the morning. Cappuccino will fall.
Cappuccino knew that he was gonna get caught. She had flash, didn't even use it at that point. Would have just been wasting the flash at that point, but does give the blue buff over to the Zac. Would have been nice. I think they might have been trying to give it over to Lissandra, especially to match the fact that Ice Bear on Lux has the blue buff. It also is at the level 10 mark, as you're talking about with the half build with the extra mana. So she's going to be able to push the lane very hard, but blue buff going over to Zac, it's not all bad.
Right. Meanwhile, the top lane CS lead has grown to about 50 for Coco, and once again we see the bounty system coming into place. It's like a 1,000 gold bounty if you pick up Coco and Dice.
Yep, talking about the bounty, the gold difference right now is about 2,000 in favor of Team Hanami.
Oh.
Shen, oh.
That is so annoying to deal with.
Yep. Turns out he went for the Ninja Tabby's armor buy for this game, but I'm not entirely sold on this buy. As you can see, Coco is still doing so much damage to him over in the top side, so the extra armor isn't really helping him farm.
So we're talking about the lane priority coming in, Delusion and Coco. Because they can keep shoving the wave, they can just walk in, ward out the jungle, and provide so much information for the team. Binding is going to sail past and miss IU.
Yeah, but a lot of damage onto the bot side tier 1. We are 15 minutes in, neither team has picked up any tower yet, but
again coming in onto Coco, she still has the war ender, will pop it and turn it around, trying to get the return kill. Fate has to flash away. Now Coco running with the Will Ender still active. There are only a couple of seconds left on this. They can still wait it out, they can get the kill. There's no Cataclysm still though.
She's dead. She's gotta be dead.
Red buff is gonna pop, and now that's the shutdown going over to Cappuccino. Meanwhile, Hanami looking to make something happen on the bot side. Going in with the kidnap as well, getting to Ferris, but eventually he's gonna get knocked back. Somehow that didn't connect.
Well, I like what we're seeing from those teams. Oh,
action all across the map. Ice Bear now. Falling very low. She could look to turn this around with the Pearl Belt, not catching her with the last Q. The Ice Shard not landing either. One more will do it. Flashing away. She gets her. She gets her. Come on. Ah, the barrier.
That was really close. I think Lux players have a tendency to do this. Lux as well as Orianna players, they kind of want to go there, proc their passive with the Illuminate or with the empowered auto attack you get from Orianna. So she kind of saw Ice Bear walk backwards, want to get the AA, but that was a bit too risky. She does stay alive though, so
Binding,
goes
sail
by.
pass. Ice Bear had a coffee
close.
today. She definitely knows what's up.
One of us had coffee.
It's 16.5 minutes in. The goal lead hasn't increased much. It's still about 2,500.
Yep, but I like what we're seeing from both of these teams. We saw the gank top side from the side of a DNG with the Jarvan showing up top, and there the immediate response from Team Hanami to 3-man the bottom lane. And because of the 3-man advantage, they also picked up the first blooded tower, which swung their gold lead by just a bit more in their favor. But then there's also the instant response from the side of DNG. Oh, you took a bot lane tower. We're going to lane swap up top. Twice the Varus and the Lulu up top side.
Rock is gonna get spotted out here. There is a ward next to her. She's trying to come with the elastic slingshot. Needs to connect the Q to make this gang successful. Is not gonna find it. Cappuccino matching her counterpart pretty well on the top side.
I'm a bit honestly disappointed that Rock isn't playing Malphite or like Talia jungle.
Flag and Drag coming in. We thought Cappuccino might be looking to go for something, but Jenny, you need to stop advising people when it comes to playing these troll junglers.
They're not. Hey. Talia is perfectly viable in the jungle. What are you talking about? Come on. She's called Rock.
She's standing on top of a control ward, doesn't clear it out. A lot of pings going down. The reply might be coming in here for Rock. Looking for the elastic slingshot. The binding once again not connecting. Ray has been having a bit of a bad spell with this. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Lux getting caught by the Frozen Tomb. Here comes the Cataclysm as well. The elastic slingshot off the back, and the Staying United in response from Fate. This is going to be a massive team fight off the back, and the laser might just get her, and she gets her shut down. They could look to turn this fight in their favor moving forward. The Wild Growth is going to give them a lot of space. That's the double early on for Ice Bear, and now Hanami has to retreat. There's no way they can fight this one. Binding just barely missing Ray, and overall it's a 2 for 0, and they're looking to turn their eyes towards the Rift Herald.
And what good timing it was too from the DNG girls. At 18.5 minutes, they knew that this was pretty much their last opportunity to try and pick up the Rift Herald before the Baron spawn. And where was Coco that entire fight? If you're looking at the minimap, Coco had tried to invade the DNG blue buff without teleport, and that was pretty crucial. 4v5. Team with the 4 usually gonna lose.
Yeah, but with that they get the Rift Herald, which is going to give them the opportunity to siege down mid lane or top and break the outer turret. With the composition that they have, setting up the siege is very deadly because there are so many tools that they can use to catch people out. If a light binding lands, or you want to start things off with the chains of corruption, multiple accessible ways to get in.
Yep, and talking about Rift Herald, I think Rift Herald is a pretty big priority for the side of DNG, just because we're talking about how their comp is focused around the Varus. Pretty much, if Varus isn't in the lane, it's going to be really hard for DNG to actually take a tower, unless they win a team fight or unless they have the Rift Herald or the Baron, but just because they don't have that type of attack damage that a team such as Hanami with the Xayah and Aatrox are going to have.
Pings onto the Aatrox. She's going to walk into the face, check this brush, and the Flag and Drag is going to knock her up. Still has the Umbro Dash to get over the wall, and Coco's going to be safe for now. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, we see Ice Bear falling very low and eventually will die, having used the Pocket Watch as well. And the tier 1 will go the way of Hanami, and they're looking to make the siege continue. Just as I stated, they back off.
Caster curse. We didn't have much time, I think, to talk about this earlier, talking about the barrier choice for the Lux. I do agree with you. I think that Cleanse maybe would have been the barrier choice, especially in the early stages of the game, because between the Lissandra and the Zac, you kind of cleanse one, maybe flash out of the other, just because on your team you have a Shen as well as a Lulu. So past level 6, there's always the opportunity. There's the Shen ult, there's the Lulu ult, and that's pretty much like your barrier spell, whereas Cleanse is going to instantly get you out of that trouble. But I think we've seen a couple of times where perhaps Cleanse would have been the better pick.
Oh man, the damage is pretty sick from Coco. She's gone for the early Black Cleaver into what appears to be the Youmuu's Ghostblade build.
Yeah, also Fate has the completed Sunfire cape, but oddly didn't go Bami Cinder for the first fight. We're talking about how she picked up Rush the Tabi boots and then got more armor.
Oh, they find the Jarvan's face checking here. Flag and Drag will get it out, and they stand united to add a bit more safety. That's the thing about the Jarvan though. However, we see the Lissandra coming off the back, a massive knockup coming in from the Zac, and they are gonna just destroy them this fight. 3-man knockups are pretty disgusting when you can land them like that, and Rock is pretty much smurfing at this point. She goes in once more, tries to land the Qs. It's not gonna get it, but the slow is enough for the team to finish off the kill. Should be looking to turn their sights towards the Dragon or the Baron here. Hanami looking extremely solid in the first game of today.
Yep, I mean, if you're not running Protobelt Lissandra, what are you even doing, right? On this patch, but very nice play from the team Hanami girls. It's like, they're not going to be able to really get much damage down onto the mid-side tier 2, and as you mentioned, they're going to pick up the very nice Dragon Bones. It's actually their 3rd Dragon for this game. I kind of like the way they're running this 3-2 thing with the 3 members trying to push in the lane. You know, we only really needed the Zac over to pick up the Dragon.
Dice is going to take the rip buff from that top as well, just to add insult to injury. the Skull Crab, because why not?
Yeah, I mean, neither team really has the sort of champions for the early Baron rush, but they are going to get that vision.
Rift Herald used in... The Rift Herald has been used in a very unfortunate position. They didn't have the time to set up for the siege, just because of the nature of how the teams have been fighting, being caught out.
Yeah, I think that if DNG had won that fight, it would have given them the opportunity to try and turn this game around. Because right now they're about 6,000 gold down. They are going to be able to pick up the top tier 1. That's actually just their first tower of the game at 23 minutes in. Hanami are responding though. They have sent 3 members up top. But DNG, I think that was pretty much the team fight for them to try and turn the game around. Because if they had won that team fight, they would have likely put Shelly in the mid lane, get the dragon, go back to base, kind of have the reset, have the gold more even. But after losing that team fight, they're down 6,000 gold.
The bleeding doesn't look to be stopping anytime soon either, because in the side lane, Coco is just decimating Fate in the 1v1. You can see she's just having a wave the wave.
Yep, and taking a look at the CS, right? I mean, Varus does have the highest CS on the team with 148 CS right now, but when you look at the gold difference and the CS scores on the other side, Aatrox at this point 206, Lissandra 185 CS.
The individual goal is just staggering the bot lane because Dice is what?
That's actually nuts.
Close to 3,000 gold to hit?
Yep. 2.6?
Yeah.
One of us can math. It's not you. I'm sorry.
We're looking to check
this is
started up.
Pretty
Coco
dangerous
has walked
area
over
though.
to cover the area here, and the double bruisers are just holding the front line. Delusion and Coco are gonna be setting up this net of defense, the first wave of inflammation.
Yeah, DNG aren't going to be able to contest this. They do have some ward coverage, they know what's going on, but at this point I think they're just choosing to push out their lane a bit, farm a bit more, get more vision in the jungle, try and catch Lissandra.
Oh, they catch her in the taunt in the middle of the glacial path. Out, the Frozen Tomb is going to buy some time. She pings, help me, but no one's coming over. Eventually the flash will get her out. Looking to turn this one around. They see the ward here, the glacial path back in, elastic slingshot as well. They catch the Shen and they catch the Varus, and that's who they wanted because they're gonna bring them back in and say this top tier 2 is gonna belong to us as well.
And that CC chain is absolutely ridiculous. You saw the aggressive play from Delusion right there. She didn't have her ultimate. She hit into W and then into the Zac CC. So very good teamwork, I think, from the side of Team Hanami. It was one of the things that we weren't too sure about, just because there are a lot of roster swaps, a lot of new players coming in. We weren't sure what communications would look like between the teams after just 1 week of scrims. But Team Hanami, though, they're looking pretty good.
I mean, they do have their work cut out for them in this tournament because we saw Nitrous, Armageddon Nitrous and Asterix both putting up very formidable performances as well.
Oh yeah, of course.
This is like the prerequisite, right? They want to play to that point. They need to be at least, coordinated in draft and execution.
And talking to both teams before today's game started, I think Team Hanami were saying that they're a bit nervous, but they think that they'll be able to take the first game.
Right.
Whereas I think the DNG guys, they traveled over to Singapore. They said they were actually really nervous. They weren't sure what today was going to turn out like. Also the fact that they changed their entire bot lane. I think the confidence is really showing from Team Hanami.
With the Baron buff, they're going to secure mid tier 2, and there's only one outer turret left in the bot lane. I think Coco is going to make short work of that. Posturing like they want to go in here. Hanami staring down the barrel of the gun in the mid lane.
Yep, they're making pretty productive use of the Baron buff. Going to be picking up both the mid as well as bot side towers with the Baron. Cappuccino right now, we were talking about how it's so hard once the Jarvan falls behind. You could see him posturing around the side, wanted to go for the plank, for the plank. That's how useful he's been this game. It's just been planking on the side. I'm kidding, but you could see him posturing around the side, wanted to go in pretty much like how the Jarvan players play. However, he's gone Black Cleaver this game, so it's really hard for him to try to go for the engage. I think he thinks that because he has the Shen, has the Lulu, if he goes in, he will be safe. But I think what we've been seeing from the team fight so far is that Hanami are so far ahead, they're still able to blow up the side of DNG.
Yeah, they get the mid tier, or rather, excuse me, the inhibitor turret in the mid lane, and they're going for the inhibitor next. The question is whether they want to take this fight, because Hanami has managed to find the Lux there with the binding, and they're going to catch up the Frozen 2 as well. The elastic slingshot off the back is going to catch 2, and this should be a very good fight for them. The self-division has been popped by the Zac, the final spark completely invaded there, and I think Hanami knows that they have this in the bag with the joining, with the Aatrox joining as well. This should be a one fight for the blue team here. Running them over, just looking to dive this as well. They're padding the KDA and looking to close this game out. The big fight there, they're gonna move over to the Nexus turret as well, and there's no deceiving ourselves here. Hanami were in control of the game the whole time, and now they're looking to make the first game their stamp of dominance here.
Yep, very proactive play, I think, all throughout from the Hanami girls. We're talking about them looking forward to the later games of this afternoon. They are going to be needing to show that type of aggression, that type of a teamwork, if they really want to hope to beat the other two current top 2 teams.
They're going to be backing off for a bit and looking to
play it safe.
Play it safe, yeah. You know, the conservative, get the dragon, get the items, sort of closing mentality.
Yeah, it's going to be really hard, I think, for DNG to try and make it back into this run. They're down about 11,000 gold at this point. Although I believe there is a team in the FSL for this season who is good at playing from behind, not taking those risky plays, trying to farm up and get back into the game. It's going to be definitely not good. So the game isn't over just quite yet.
You say that, but it's my professional opinion, right? That if you are behind 10,000 gold 30 minutes in with 4 dragons that your opponent has, it's kind of a... This composition, I'll just say, is not meant to outscale and play their game, because right now the engage is too strong. Hanami's just going to run over them in fights.
Yeah, they would need the miracle comeback at this point.
Like the computer's just TC.
Hey.
Looking to set up the final push to close out this game is Hanami, led by their new and well-substituted jungler here. Pushing up the top inhibitor seems to be the focus for Hanami. They have 4 here, and the teleport in as well from Delusion. She wants to join on this top side to make close this game out with her team. So 1 inhibitor down, and the last is going to fall soon as well. Poco is just working on that, and there's only 1 vestige of survival left, and it's gonna be the Nexus turret at half health. Hanami dotting the I's, crossing the T's here, taking this very safe, looking to siege. They have caught the Shen with the Dark Binding. They don't want to go in onto this. The flag and drag forward by Cappuccino might just be a mistake here. A couple more hits on the turret will do it. Just stalling this one out. The final spark not even doing any damage, just like a gust of wind forward. Make no mistake, ladies and gentlemen, Hanami here are not in a position to lose this game. 1 more auto attack will do it on the Nexus turret, and now Hanami finishing the first game off in dominating fashion. 30 minutes in, 12,000 gold with the flash for the style points. It's gonna be Hanami.
What a good showing from
the
Hanami girls. We were talking about it in Picks and Ban, how they both drafted well and then executed their composition. So we were talking about the CC chain, the point where they hit the level 6 and just run straight at Team Definitely Not Girls. And we saw so much action from them. We were saying that there are a lot of opportunities for them to make stuff happen around the map, and they did. And
you know, congratulations to them as well, because now they advance forward. This was pretty much the last chance for redemption. So moving forward is another window for them to at least fight for first place. Personally though, the next game is the one that I'm the most hyped about. I love watching them play. It's going to be Asterix going up against Nitrous, I believe. Yeah, and both teams with a lot to prove. Asterix, 2-time winners looking to make it the 3rd this time, and Nitrous coming in hot off a bunch of insane wins as well. All that in a couple of minutes, guys. We'll be going for a short break, but when we come back, I believe we will have the matches up for you. If you're here at the venue, stay tuned, don't go anywhere, because we have a couple of activities for you guys to win some prizes. If you're watching the stream as well, do like, share, comment, and I believe there will be a chance for you to win a Lee Sin Skin Code?
Playmaker Lee Sin Skin.
Yes.
So guys, we will be going for a short break on the stream, but we're running a lot of giveaways here at the venue. I believe that today the finals are starting at 3 p.m. So if you're watching from home, there's still time for you guys to make it down to the venue. Our grand prize is going to be a secret lab chair.
Very nice.
They're comfortable. We're sitting on them there.
So guys, we'll see you real soon. Don't go anywhere, and if you want, just come down to the venue.